So this is video number 4, where we're going to be looking at the strategies that you can use to help mould your child's behaviour, okay? And like I said, this is authoritative, it is conscious parenting, it is aware parenting, it's kind, it's based in attachment theory and attachment psychology, and best of all, like I said, it works. Even with the strongest of personalities, the strongest temperaments, your child will be eating out of your hand in no time, I promise you. You know, we're not making them into robots. They're still little children who are going to do stuff, okay? Never expect perfection, because you're just not going to get it. But it's about avoiding the real big stuff, that we don't want to hurt themselves or other people, because that's not good for anybody. So let's look at how we're going to do this. So when I look at toddler behaviour and child behaviour, I look at like a jigsaw. So you need to have all the bits around the outside. It's like a sunflower. And in the middle, you've got this fabulous thing called the child's game, which I'm going to go through at the very end. So you've got labelled praise. So labelled praise is about talking about effort in a positive way. When you talk about labelled praise, children do a third better in life, okay? Which is huge. So if you want your child to do really well in life, to really be a high achiever, use labelled praise. Don't use empty praise. Empty praise is clever girl, good boy, super, fantastic. Then they think, super at what? Fantastic at what? What's so good about that? Why should I have to work if I'm so super? Okay, disaster. You'll see it everywhere you go. Empty praise, cafes, supermarkets, everywhere. Okay, everybody's doing it. They're really not helping their children with their outcomes in life and to be a high achiever. And just be happy, you know? Once you use empty praise and you have children that have lack of resilience, lack of confidence, okay? So we need to look at this labelled praise. It's, for example, well done, Josh, for putting your toys away in your box. High five, good work. Or well done, Charlotte, for bringing your plate to the dishwasher and helping mummy stack the dishwasher, or helping daddy stack the dishwasher. Then you'll see more of that behaviour. It takes 9 positives, okay, 9 to get rid of 1 negative, okay? So the more that you do this labelled praise, the more you're going to have your child eating out of your hand, and the more you're going to see more of that behaviour. The thing with behaviour is we expect good behaviour. We need to notice it. We need to mention it. It is so important. All right, these little ones are just waiting to be noticed that they're behaving well. We tend to jump on bad behaviour, on naughty behaviour. We need to pay attention to the good behaviour, the positive behaviours, the stuff we want to see more of, okay? Right, next we've got how to give commands and instructions. So rather than say, please, Tiffany, put your toys away, or let's get your coat on and your shoes on. Let's you know, please help mummy. There's no please. When it's a command, it's quite direct, okay? So it's like saying, right, in a few minutes, we're going to be going for a bath, so I'd like you to put those toys away in 3 minutes for a 3-year-old, 2 minutes for a 2-year-old, and we do a countdown. In 2 minutes, think about putting your toys away, Tiffany. In 1 minute, toys away, okay? Let me help you. So we do this 3-minute rule, which is like a breakdown. So for a 5-year-old, it'd be a 5-minute rule, 4-year-old, 4-minute rule, etc. But when we give commands and instructions, we're very direct, okay? We tell them what we want to stop and what we want to do instead. So I want you to stop throwing your toys, Peter, and I want you to play with them nicely instead. Or, you know, for example, Karen's just on a night shift, so she's a bit vague today, sorry. So Charlotte, I want you to stop hitting your brother and play with him nicely and gently instead, and you demonstrate what that stuff is, okay? So we need to say stop and do this instead. It redirects, it diverts. So that's how we give commands and instructions, down to their level, at eye level. And what we do is, once we've given the instruction, we wait 10 seconds and see if the activity, the actual outcome is going to happen. And we count it in our head, these 10 seconds, we stand our ground, we don't move. If in 10 seconds they haven't done as we've asked, we say, you haven't done as I've asked, Charlotte. You're now going to go straight into quiet time if it's a young child under 2.5, or time out if it's an older child. I'm going to explain that in a moment. So we have to have a consequence when we give an instruction. For an older child, a 3 to 8 year old, you're looking at logical consequences. Okay, so that's how to give commands and instructions, how to redirect, and that's the 3-minute rule, which for a 5-year-old is a 5-minute rule. Right, so next we're going to look at ignoring minor indiscretions. So little stuff, just ignore it. Okay, walk away, walk away, walk away. Don't even give eye contact, say nothing, it'll go away quicker. That's something like whinging, okay? Because if you give an instruction and say, I'd like you to stop whinging please and talk in your nice quiet voice instead, and they don't do it, and you've got to follow through with a consequence. And you've got to think, is that really worth time out? I don't think it probably is, okay? So we've done all that stuff there. So next I want to look at these consequences. I want to look at quiet time and time out. Quiet time is for younger children under 2.5, and it's when they're just feeling overwhelmed and they need help with self-regulation. So when children are in overwhelm, they throw things, they shout, they act out. So it's different to a tantrum. Quiet time is for behaviour where they're likely to hurt themselves or other people, okay? So you'd get them on your knee, you'd face them away from you, you'd hold them round their body or round their wrists, and it's quite a firm cuddle. It'll look like an exorcism. It will not look pretty. It will take 20 to 30 minutes and they're going to go to their planet and they're going to try and resist and try to break free from you. They're going to come back down, and once they're calm, and they've been calm for 2 minutes, then they can get down, but they must be calm before they're allowed down. So that's a self-regulation aspect. Now, when you've got an older child and they haven't done as you've asked, you say, Josh, you haven't done as I've asked. You're now going to go straight into timeout. So timeout is the last chance saloon, okay? You don't use the bedroom. You don't use the laundry. You don't use the bathroom, because they're gonna do stuff that is they're gonna really lose it, okay? You need to a safe place. It's a boring place. So usually the hallway or the bottom or the top step of the stairs is a good place. And you take them to timeout. Now, if they come out of timeout, then you return them and return them and return them. If they're kicking and screaming, hold them against the shoulders, against the wall, so they can't hurt you or themselves. And again, once they're calm, then they can come out. But they have to be calm for 3 minutes for a 3-year-old, 4 minutes for a 4-year-old, etc. So the key thing is that they are calm before they come out. Now, when they've finished their little tanty and losing it, then you say to them, timeout's finished now, you can come out. If they choose not to come out, then it's their choice, okay? You don't force them, okay? Now, on the way to timeout, some children often will laugh at you. And sometimes it looks like defiance, but it's not. It's just they can't believe that you are going to do this, okay? Proceed. Do not worry about them laughing at you. So I'll give you an example of when I've used timeout. So I had a little 5-year-old out west I went to help, and I turned up at the house, and within 5 minutes, she'd smacked her mum across the face twice. So I said to the mum, I'm sorry, we've just met. I said, but I need to help you with her behaviour. I said, this is not okay. I said, how often does this sort of thing happen? She goes, all the time. I said, right, okay. I said, do I have your permission to do timeout? She said, yes, please. I'm going to go in the kitchen and shake. So she went to the kitchen and shake, and I went to do timeout. So I took this little child to the hallway. She was lashing out. She was kicking and screaming and trying to hit me and bite me and spit at me. So keep yourself really calm when you do this. Really essential. So I had her against the shoulders against the wall so she didn't hurt myself or herself. And she screamed to the next level. And I looked at her straight in the eyes and I said, Karen does not give in. And that's how I delivered it. So I don't have a red mist. I don't react with anger or frustration or anything. I keep myself really neutral. It has taken a lot of training, I have to say. And she went to the next level and I said, no, Karen does not give in. She then dissolved into a pile of jelly on the floor and said, I'm sorry. Ran off into the kitchen and said to her mum, I'm sorry, I love you so much, mummy. That night she went into her parents' bedroom, and she had a little habit of going into her parents' bedroom and making her mum go and sleep on a blow-up mattress in the front room. That night she went into her parents' bedroom at 3 o'clock as per usual and said, Mummy, Daddy, I love you so much, I'm now going to get back into my own bed. So you just need to take control properly, probably just once for most children, okay? But don't worry if on day one you spend all day in timeout. They will soon get the memo, okay? And the more you do this labelled praise, the better it's going to work. Because if you just do, discipline of timeout and quiet time, then you're only going to see his bad behaviour. You need to look at the labelled praise, etc. Now, the etc. bit is the child's game. This is the glue that's going to stick all this together. If we don't do the child's game, this stuff is not going to work so well. So the child's game is special time. It's relationship building. So what it is it's you're attended, you're attending, you're present, and what you say to your child is, right, you give them 10 minutes of your time and you say, right, today we're going to do a little game for 10 minutes. I'd like you to choose the game and I'm going to sit with you. And most of the time parents want to teach their children something. I don't want you to teach them. I want you to sit and be. It's a very different way of looking at the world and parenting. Once we teach them something, they stop playing with us. They don't want to be taught. They just want our presence. So we sit there and we comment in a positive way on what we're seeing. If they ask us to play with them, then we do play with them. But if they don't ask us, we just sit there and be and comment in a positive way. And we do the same thing every day. You must do it every day. Doesn't matter if it's not you, if it's your partner, yeah, as long as one person does it. But that's the glue that's going to stick all of this together. So the child's game or special time, it's huge. Do not underestimate how important this is. And it'll just mend and help that relationship and make them realise that the discipline that you do in the time out, the quiet time, whatever, that it's, you don't hate them. There's nothing negative about this, okay? And you'll have your child eaten out of your hand. It is really amazing, like seriously amazing. So that's basically a little jigsaw of what you need to know about toddler and child behaviour, okay? And what will happen is it's same as with sleep. Day one's hard, day two's the same, slightly better. Day 3 and 4 gets worse before it gets better. Toddlers, day 5, okay? Expect that pushback. And within a week to 10 days, you should have a child eating out of your hand, okay? So older children, you can reason a little bit more with them. So last night I was in the house and this little 4.5-year-old was trying to climb up the shower screen and climb up everything else. And I said to him, if you keep on doing that, Henry, you're going to fall and you're going to really hurt yourself and it's going to make you cry, and then we're going to have to call an ambulance, and then we're going to have to take you to hospital. And you know what, tonight, Henry, we don't have time to go to the hospital. There is no spare time because we need to get you to bed and it's bedtime. So you're going to see these sort of behaviours at bedtime, at meal times, usually after 5 o'clock. That's when things tend to go a little bit pear-shaped because they've had a big day, they're probably hungry and angry, hangry, yeah. When kids have low blood sugar, they're more likely to act out, okay? So we need to look at diet as well, but that's in the nutrition programme part that belongs to the sleep programme. So let us look next at tantrums, because tantrums are another big one. So with tantrums, it is not the same as managing naughty behaviour or negative behaviour, but we need to acknowledge and walk away. So for example, when they're really losing it and it's past the point of no return, there's no reasoning, they've just seen the red mist, because when you've got an angry child, they don't hear your words, okay? You're wasting your breath basically, particularly with a child under 3. So you acknowledge, you can say, look, Sadie, I can see that you're really angry right now, and I'm going to let you calm down in your own time. So you acknowledge and walk away, because that way you're giving names for feelings, okay? Which is so important that we give names to these feelings, because they're going through these massive big emotions, okay? So tantrums, that's how you manage them. They will be epic. They could be full frontal, laid on the floor, planking, everything. But that's how you manage that stuff. Now, when you're out and about, you might need to get hold of them surfboard style and carry them home and into the car. You might not have time to, manage the tantrum as I've said, because people might be staring, etc. Okay, but when you're at home, this is how you manage them. And eventually your child will soon learn that this is how you manage all this stuff. Now we also need to look at emotions. Now let me just get this load of books out which I've got at the side here. So we need to talk about emotions with children. So it's so important that we read them some books about emotions that say, my parent understands me. So these are the ones by Trace Moroney. Now, I'm not sure if you can see them there. So they've got loved, lonely, happy, angry, jealous, sad, kind and scared. And this is the Book of Feelings by Trace Moroney. It's a little box set. And kids, oh, sorry, I've just dropped the book there. Kids in particular like the angry one, they like the sad one. They're the ones they tend to read or want to be read most, okay? But what these books do, or talking about feelings does, is it says to the parent, or says to the child, you know, my parent understands me. And when you're a child and you feel understood, it goes a long way. It really does. So it is normal to have outbursts. It's normal to have behaviour that we might not like. It's similar to, you know, physical development, but sometimes we don't allow for this emotional development stuff, and we need to allow from it. The brain is developing. It is, you know, it is a brain that's constantly evolving and changing. But this will really help you as parents. So I hope these videos have been helpful and given you the insight and the background to the information that's in the online program. So bye from Karen, and good luck, and love to hear how you go.